The Grind, a Minnesota sports podcast.
Welcome into The Grind. My name is Tim, and I'm the host of this Minnesota sports podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube and follow button wherever you're listening to the show. A like on this YouTube video would also be great. Thank you for doing that. A lot has happened since Friday, specifically about the Minnesota Vikings. There has been a disinformation campaign. Lies, 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 and more lies about J.J. McCarthy. Also, the Minnesota Vikings avoid another disaster. Plus, the Vikings re-sign one of their guys. All of that on today's show. But first, I need to tell you about 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis because they transformed our bathroom in 48 hours. A full bathroom remodel. From the floors to the shower, to the countertops, to the vanity, to the sinks, to the mirror. Everything was done. Full bathroom remodel. All in 48 hours. Don't wait 8 weeks for your bathroom project to get done when you can get it done conveniently and affordable and timely and amazingly and without the sacrifice where you have to cram into your teeny tiny bathroom in the basement of your house where you're rubbing shoulders with everybody. You can contact 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. They'll give you a free consultation and they'll offer affordable payment plans. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. Contact them today and get a full bathroom remodel done in 48 hours. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. First, let me start with this J.J. McCarthy disinformation campaign. And also, we need to do some education on today's podcast because there is so much disinformation available to the public if you want to seek disinformation. There are so many Vikings beat reporters that are trustworthy, from Ben Gessling to Alec Lewis to Kevin Sievert to Will Raggett to the Twin Cities guy, Dane. I can't pronounce his last name, and I don't want to mess it up. Mitsurani, something like that. Shout out, Dane. And the most untrustworthy people that you could get information from is specifically from Dov Kleiman on Twitter. Guys everywhere posting these videos, has 340,000 followers. And then people take that information and then spread it even more. And then we got some random Caleb Williams fan club guy with 14,000 followers. An unverified fanboy that shared this Dov Kleiman tweet from 2024. And the tweet that Caleb Williams fan club shared, I'm sure he has good intentions, says, J.J. McCarthy is struggling to read the defense in camp. This was his 5th interception of the day. Fine, post it, whatever. The video only has 4.8 million views. Do you think that a random fan of the Chicago Bears or any other NFL team is going to look at that video and know it's a straight lie up someone's a-hole?
Huh?
What? This video and information is straight disinformation. And you need to be leery of anyone reporting anything that is not a Vikings beat writer. And there are plenty of Vikings writers. that are trustworthy, that are at every practice, that write things specifically about the team. And what I've really learned recently, and I've known this, but I've really learned it and I've soaked it in and I've studied it and I've analyzed it, is just how little the national media folks know compared to the insiders that we get to read stories from that are at Vikings practice every day. You see a national beat writer, not even them necessarily, but almost like a national sports talk show, go off about this subject, and then you read the real details from the beat reporter that's covering the Vikings every day. And the inside beat reporter has so much more knowledge than someone that tries to nationally cover the football league. Even, let me say, the Tom Pelissaros and Ian Rappaports, because very consistently last offseason, they were saying that the Vikings and Sam Darnold were in negotiations to try to get a deal done, and that it was top of the mind. And these guys are the best of the best. But everybody knew the Vikings were not going to give Sam Darnold what he wanted, and he was going to seek it elsewhere. Because this was the one time in his career that Darnold earned a splashy contract. And yet the national folks were, Vikings and Darnold, they're going to come back. The Vikings intentionally lowballed Darnold knowing he was going to leave. So with all of this said, you need to be aware where this information is coming from and what's true information and what's disinformation. One of the best ways to do it is to follow the Purple Persuasion on Twitter, because he gathers this stuff from the best sources and posts them about the Minnesota Vikings. He is the best follow on the internet. So just be aware, because there are people like this that have no earthly clue what they're talking about and want to get 4.8 million views. And really, it doesn't bother me. I'm not upset about it. I'm just letting you know that people out there do this stuff. And don't just read it for what it is, but actually study it and analyze it and understand the source. A Caleb Williams fan club source on Twitter saying McCarthy's thrown 5 interceptions is not a worthy source. Okay. Justin Jefferson has an injury scare in training camp. According to the Minnesota Vikings Twitter account, head coach Kevin O'Connell has announced that wide receiver Justin Jefferson has a mild hamstring strain and he will be held out of practice. Jefferson will be re-evaluated next week. A couple of different things. I believe it was Judd Zolgad of Score North that mentioned this was Justin Jefferson's other leg, not the leg that he sustained a hamstring injury in 2 years ago. So that's good that it's his other leg. Another point that I want to make about this. If there was a player that would sustain a hamstring injury and then be ready for week 1, it would be none other than Justin Jefferson. He doesn't play preseason anyways, so the preseason isn't a big deal. Sure, getting reps with McCarthy and dialing in that chemistry as much as you can every day in practice is important. But if an injury like this was going to happen to some player, there is no player that I would rather have it happen to than Justin Jefferson. Because I know JJ Jets will be ready to perform in week one. You don't have to question Jefferson's drive. Not that you question other people's drive, but when you're as great as Jefferson is, greatness has an ability to miss practice for weeks, show up week one, have a few days of practice before to prep, and then dominate the game. Greatness doesn't have the same limitations as ordinary players. And when Justin Jefferson misses time, he has an ability to step right into the fold and dominate NFL games. So, as scary as this could have been, it looks like it's mild, and it looks like he's still on track to play week one, and I have no concerns because of how good, how great Justin Jefferson is. With that said, Jefferson cannot miss a significant amount of time because we still do not know the state of Jordan Addison with his potential NFL discipline, because he is still subject to NFL discipline, although he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. Wet driving. So, as mild a hamstring strain as this is, which doesn't concern me because it's Justin Jefferson and he'll be ready for week one, we're also very lucky, the Vikings are, that it's not serious, because if it was, then we're looking at significant issues early on in weeks 1 through 3 if Jordan Addison misses the first 3 games of the season due to an NFL suspension. So those are my thoughts on that. Next up, I want you to check out Hoagland Farms Beef. You got to call Jared at 952-491-1541 for the best rotationally grazed, 100% grass-fed beef. I was just looking at Walmart the other day, and they had some steaks for $9 a pound. I said that right. $9 a pound. It's actually $9.86. You can get Hoagland Farms beef, steaks, chuck roast, all the goods for less than half. More than half that, I mean. $4 roughly a pound at Hoagland Farms beef. Compared to $9 a pound at Walmart with the preservatives and junk, you don't know where that beef comes from. Contact Hoagland Farms at 952-491-1541. Tell Jared Tim sent you, and he'll give you a little discount on your first order. Hoagland Farms beef. Know where your beef comes from and also get it cheaper. 952-491-1541. Josh Metellus officially signs his contract extension. He did the whole hold-in thing during OTAs, big deal. OTAs are pretty simple. But then he's the leader of the team and wants to show up for training camp knowing he's the leader. More so, he was told that by his agent to show up because a deal will get done soon. But Josh Metellus and the Vikings reached agreement on a 3-year, $36 million contract extension with a max value of $42 million. That includes $25 million guaranteed per agent Drew Rosenhaus. Josh Metellus is not being paid like a top 3, top 5 safety in the league. People like to call him the Swiss Army knife. I like to call him the Army knife. Because the Swiss Army knife is one of the most dangerous weapons because it can do so many different things. Which Josh Metellus can do so many different things. But he's not super dangerous from the different things that he can do. And I think this is a fair contract. $25 million guaranteed, $36 million contract extension, 3 years. This wasn't top safety money in the league, but it was a fair deal because Josh Metellus does add veteran leadership to the Vikings defensive secondary, and he can do multiple things on the field. He doesn't do a single position phenomenally well, like top of the level, top echelon level well, but he does everything good. And that's really what the Vikings defense is filled with. I don't see a single dominant player that's going to be a force for the Vikings defensively. I see a bunch of really good players that are coming together for the Super Bowl mission. I see players that are getting contracts that are fair relatively to what they produce. I don't see overpaid players. I don't see players that had to receive a huge chunk of change, but then the Vikings couldn't pay other players because of that single player. I see a bunch of good players getting paid at a very respectable amount for the team and for the player so that they can come together for the goal of winning a Super Bowl. And same thing with Josh Metellus. And he had a quote after he got paid, if I can find it. Basically, he said, I want to win a ring for this team. I love it here. I never considered or didn't want to enter free agency in 2026. And that sounds good. But also the truth behind that is you don't want to enter an NFL season on a 1-year contract in case you get injured and then that contract goes out the window. So he loves the city. I believe that he does. He wants to win a Super Bowl for Minnesota. I believe he does. He wants to win the big game for this city because he loves it. This is home. But it's also because he doesn't want to enter an NFL season on a 1-year contract. Because if he gets hurt, then $25 million guaranteed is out the window. So that's also true. Let's not leave out that part. Thank you for joining the show today. Remember, 5-Star Bass Solutions of Minneapolis and Hoagland Farms Beef. 952-491-1541. Thanks for joining, and I hope you all have a good day.